There's been another increase in the time detainees are being held at a Kent centre prior to being deported. Just last year, the Chief Inspector of Prisons criticised the average length of stay at Dover Immigration Removal Centre. It then stood at around 131 days. A more recent survey shows inmates being held for even longer, an average of 195 days.
John Roper is the chairman of the Dover Immigration Centre Independent Monitoring Board, which has just published its annual report. Earlier, he told me the details in the report.
There are a number of complex cases that prove difficult to resolve, and that of course puts up the average. Difficult working relationships with a number of countries with whom it's difficult to arrange emergency travel documents, that's one reason. The generic legal barriers, usually for human rights reasons, to remove to certain countries, that's another one. The appeal processes, and of course we always get non-cooperation in the removal process on the part of the detainees.
Majesty's Chief Inspector of Prisons in May last year highlighted problems at the centre. You've highlighted problems at the centre, but, the solution is a bit more difficult to come by, isn't it?
It is very difficult to come by, and that's recognised. The Chief Executive of UKBA and the Immigration Minister, Damon Green, they both recognise it is a major problem.
You say your report's encouraging. In what way is it encouraging?
There are 4 determining factors considered to be a general guide when seeking to establish a social climate that exists within a removal centre, and namely the number of actual self-harm incidents that have occurred during a specific period, the amount of times the use of force was required, the total number of times files were opened for detainees causing concern, and the occasions when it was deemed necessary to commit a detainee to the separation unit. For the second successive year at Dover, they witnessed significant reductions in all those 4 areas, and I think that's a testament to the care and dedication of the various members of staff directly involved.
That's John Roper, chairman of the Dover Immigration Centre Independent Monitoring Board. Their report just out. Well, Vebi Kasumi is the director of the Dover Detainee Visitors Group, and he's on the line now. Good morning.
Good morning, John.
What we heard there from John Roper is that he says that there are some encouraging points in his report. Do you agree?
Well, I think on some ways I may agree with John, but I think there is no encouraging on the time when you have indefinite detention. The detention seems to be longer and longer these days, and thank you for giving me opportunity to speak about it.
The problem is, Vebi, is that having spoken to very many people and Her Majesty's Inspector of Prisons as well, they're all saying that there are many factors why these people are spending longer and longer in this centre, and some of those factors are outside of anybody's control.
Well, I think actually I listened very well to John Roper, which I personally know, but my response to that will be that UK is one of the 3 countries in Europe which has not put a time limit in detention, and I think UKBA should get act together and deal with these cases. You cannot just lock people in, throw the key away, and have indefinite detention.
Well, let's take an example of somebody in that detention centre who may have just come out of prison, let's say, is a foreign national who has broken the law, gone to prison, and is now to be deported, and is in that centre because the country that he's being deported to are delaying the paperwork, and that often happens. Are you saying that that person should be let out?
John, to respond to your question, not only about that person, but I can respond directly about that person. There are different persons in there, overstayers. They are students which have worked over 20 hours a week. They are asylum seekers, which their process is still going on. There's complexity around that, but not only the complexity. Even if I take that person, if you charge someone and you send to prison for 3 years, and that person get out of prison and goes in detention, there's no time limit in it. I think that doesn't make a sense. To be honest, there's a time limit in life itself, and I think that's it's a time that government think about putting a time limit in detention.
You're obviously in touch with people inside that centre who are waiting for whatever. Tell me how does it affect their lives? How do they respond to being in there?
I just going to give you 2 comparisons. I have actually visited prison, Canterbury prison, and I have spoken to the prisoners, and they seem to be in much better mental health state for a reason, because there is a time limit, there's decision has been made, and these people know when they're going to go out. The people in immigration detention, there is no time limit, and the cost to keep one there is £120 a day, according to UK Border Agency government figures to the Parliament on 2010 year. And I think that the detention, what it does to the human being is an extensive. I visited over 1,500 immigration detainees, and I would assure you that I haven't seen one which doesn't have some form of depression, and the others develop quite severe mental health issues. And I will assure you, John, if I kept you into your house for a week and I give you all the opportunities, your mental health wouldn't be so good.
Vebi, thanks for joining us. Vebi Kasumi is the director of the Dover Detainee Visitor Group, just talking about the new report out which says that some people are spending longer in there than ever. Basically, they're spending longer. And also, the point Vebi making, they don't actually know, like an ordinary prisoner, when they're going to get out.